Hi, all. Welcome to Solicitor Onyango's live for today. Um, Thank you all for those who are joining. Good to see you all. Um, I'll wait for a couple of minutes for those who are going to be joining us today before I start. In the meantime, if it's your first time joining us on the live, I'd like to welcome you. Um, my name is Ronald Onyango, and I'm a solicitor, and I will be giving you this discussion today just to talk on the self sponsorship, but specifically targeting on technology and digital innovation. So I'll wait a couple of minutes for those who wish to join. If you're here, please let me know you're in. Uh, just type something on the comment to be welcomed and make sure that we know that we've got people streaming in. Just to be sure that the live is on, please do type a message so that we can be sure that we are able to see everyone. Hi, Eric. Are you able to see me? Just type something to make sure to confirm you're able to see me. Excellent. Okay. Just checking. I just want to make sure that the people saw the last video which I sent, which was in relation to following the 2022 reforms, the immigration reforms, which brought some changes. We wanted to know that people obviously are aware of still the ongoing options that are available and how they may be able to access their sponsorship. Welcome, Ifedapo. Welcome, Adeoma. Good to see you all. Just give a wave, state your location just to know that I'm audible and clear and you can see me. We'll give everybody a chance to say something, at least as many people as possible. But if you joined, please just make it known that you're here so that we can be able to know that everything is set up and you're able to see us. But thank you all. Now, we will just give you a couple of minutes before we start. And then we'll be able to set up. Just to welcome everybody. Hello, Farhan. Welcome on board. Just state where you're joining from, just to make sure that we're able to ascertain. Ifedapo, which town are you based? And Adama, if you could confirm the same, and also, right, okay, Swindon, fantastic, Wilshire. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, so just as we're waiting for the others to join, just to briefly recap on what we had last on the last live, which was actually on TikTok. It's the first time we're coming to YouTube, and thank you all for those who are joining us here. We'll be doing it on YouTube moving forward. So if you haven't subscribed, please do, and so that you'd be able to be notified. Fantastic. Thank you, Ade FM, for confirming it's audible enough. Wonderful. That's good. Yes, we did the last podcast on professional and advisory services. This was just to ensure that obviously those people who are seeking to embark on that route and want to use for self-sponsorship. Today, we will be looking at a rather different one, which is the technology and digital innovation system, innovation route. But just before I do that, I thought it would be nice to perhaps talk a bit about the self sponsorship, how it works, and to be able to be sure that most people understand principally how this does work before actually going to the specifics. Sales sponsorship is a route, and what does it work? It's simple. How does it work? This is quite important, especially those who may be finding themselves that they're running out of status or they haven't got many options. This could be something that they could consider. And how does it work? Um, uh, Essentially, it is a route which enables someone to form a company, and they can be a legitimate owner, shareholder. They own the company, forming using all the company structures. And once the company is set up, the company hopefully has a genuine vacancy which the proprietor or the promoter of the business can ultimately be able to use to apply for sponsorship. In actual sense, the company is first set up. Once the company is set up, then the owners are usually able to apply for a sponsorship license, which we can usually guide. There are certain documentation which are required, but that's for another subject, which we'll talk later. But once the company is set up, then of course it is possible that the owners can apply for a sponsorship license. And I'll just quickly go through some of the main documents. This is not exhaustive, but I think it just gives you an overview of what is usually required. And it's important to know that this can be a company can be formed in different sectors. In my last podcast, I made it known that I'm going to be giving nuggets just for different areas. And I should make a disclaimer: this is in no way legal advice. It's just for information purposes only. Bespoke legal advice, will be given tailored on your own specific circumstances upon consultation on a one-on-one basis. So this is just for information only. Welcome, Lily Barak. Good to see you. Your question, I'll come to it in a bit. You're asking whether I should be able to answer something not related to sales sponsorship today. No, today we are going to be focusing on sales sponsorship and predominantly that. If you have something different, it's posted there, but most likely we'll be able to divide to another section. But we want to try and focus on this today. For now, we'll have another session, but do post me what subject does it relate, and I'll be able to tell you when we think we'll have another live on that. Just Lily, do post exactly what the topic relates to, and I should be able to give you some guide. Now, in the 10 podcasts we're doing series, we say that the first one was going to focus on professional advisory roles, which we've already done, and that's already been posted on the YouTube. And that focused on different professional roles and how they can be used as a business concepts to apply for sponsorship. Today's focus is going to be on technology and digital innovation services, which again will just give you different roles which people can use on business concepts and to be able to explore and this sort. And then, of course, series 3, just for those who may not know, will focus on construction and engineering services. Again, we look into different sectors of that particular area, what kind of businesses one can form. And thereafter, we'll move into healthcare and life sciences, and we look at both, regulated and non-regulated care services and business and ideas people can form. Most people are all perhaps familiar with the regulated sectors, which require CQC, but it's good to know that there are other non-regulated sectors also which people can have and can form businesses and use. Then thereafter we'll move into the creative and educative services. Again, different creative areas and education services which people can form businesses and use them to embark on the sales sponsorship. And the series 6 will look at logistics and operation services. That is where things like cleaning come up, logistics, transport, and so on and so forth. But we look at them in detail and give different examples on businesses which people can be able to form and use them under this route. And series 7 will focus on businesses and finance options, where different business models or ideas people can form, different finance services which people can form, and then be able to use them. And series 8 will look at retail and consumer services. Again, what kind of ideas people can have, business ideas they can formulate on that sector. And series 9 will look at marketing and online services. and what examples they are, and how those can be used to form businesses. And lastly, we look at beauty and hairdressing services, especially given the 2025 reforms since 22nd of July. There are some sectors, especially under the hairdressing, which cannot be used anymore. But depending on how they're structured, it is still possible to use it on the route for self-sponsorship. Now, having given that background, it's also good. And before I move into the specific ideas of technology and digital innovation, I was just going through giving the overview of self-sponsorship. It is important to know that there are essential checklists which almost all businesses will require when they're embarking on this self-sponsorship route. And one of the things to be able to start a successful business and perhaps be able to use it to sponsor yourself. The very first thing really is the market research. This is the first step towards any success. One has to conduct an in-depth market research of the particular specific area of what they want to embark on. And once that is set up, then they can proceed to set up a business using that. Then upon that being done, then the next obvious thing which somebody would consider doing, which would be very important, is a business plan, a business development, a business plan development, which is a comprehensive business plan of the business, detailing the ideas, the analysis, the financial forecast, and the strategy which should be adopted. Again, that's quite important, and it goes to the core of how is this business going to work, and that's quite important. And then the third step, which would follow after that, is obviously the financial planning, understanding all the financial requirements and the financial planning and sources of funding. How are you going to get money to do this, and so on and so forth. So it's important that also is given some consideration. And then the next thing to bear in mind, of course, the legal and regulatory compliances. Things like company registration, the tax obligations, any specific licenses that may be required. Bespoke to the business or permits as that may be. And then lastly, of course, there is going to be an element of consulting with experts and advisors, tax advisors, lawyers as well involved. Inevitably, it's quite a complicated process when you go into the details. So those are just some of the overview things that need to be borne in mind. Now, having looked at that, then it's also important to know, just to quickly brush up on that. When you're looking at some of the documents that may be required, you'll be looking at bank accounts that will be required to set up this business, proof of business registration with the HMRC for VAT purposes and PAYE. And of course, there'll be some insurances required as well, employer's liability, public liability, got a proof of ownership, or for instance, like if you're getting a lease agreement, all those will be very important. And of course, a business plan, as I mentioned before, for cash focus. So that is just an overview of what will be required on most of the businesses that will be set up. Now, looking at now the sector which I want to embark on today, which is the digital and technology and digital innovation. Having dealt with professional and advisory services on series 1, now we're on series 2, looking at technology and digital services. And I wanted just to look at it again. The concept remains the same. It can be any business. Once it's properly structured, then of course we'll look at how it can be used on the self-sponsorship. Now, today I wanted to give an idea of some of the businesses people can set up, or areas to look at, and the roles that will be applicable on the self-sponsorship, specifically focusing on the technology. The very, very first one, as an example, is where one wants to be a software development agency. Again, you can use self-sponsorship as a software development agency in the UK, and leveraging on the skilled worker visa route to set up our business and be able to acquire a COS, and ultimately which can lead to permanent settlement. So under the software development agency, there are various roles. Just want to brush on. The first one is a software developer. Again, this is where you build custom applications for clients, and typically falling under the SOC 2136. This is one head that people can use depending on whether they have this skill set. People may also consider using the role of a web developer. Again, this falls on the SOC code 2137. And the next one, which we could consider, is the IT business and analyst. Again, this also can be considered by people who have the correct skill set. You can form yourself as an IT business analyst, if you got correct qualification, ideally having a business and IT background. And that would be under so-called 2135. Quite a common one as well is people forming the business under the role, still under the software agency, where the role would be the devs. For instance, there could be a DevOps engineer. This would usually, be found in the SOC code 2139. And again, if one has got those skill sets, they can be able to use them for say sponsorship. And the last one under the agency would be the technical architect, where you are the technical architect of a specific, that would be your job role under SOC 2136. Again, the salary seems to be high on that, but if one has got the skill set and the market on that, then I think that would be quite a useful one. The next business idea, again, would be under the same header, as an IT. One can come as an IT solution, and that's number two, IT solution and cybersecurity. This would involve where one adopts the role of an information technology professional, such as a cybersecurity specialist. Again, with the sole aim or predominantly targeting to protect businesses from digital threats and delivering all sorts of IT infrastructure services, system integration, and systems cybersecurity services. Again, that the role of information technology professionals as a cybersecurity specialist is one that one can consider and to be found on code 2139. The third one, which one can consider third idea, is forming a data analytics consultancy. One can simply incorporate a company and form it as a data analytics consultancy. And the job role for that specific area would be of data analyst. Or a data scientist. Again, where they ideally the focus is on extracting insights from a business data, or designing and develop machine learning models, or interpret complex data sets, which includes predictable analytics. Again, that is something which people with that kind of skill set, if you are, it is quite possible for you to form a consultancy which specializes on data analytics. The fourth one is on the quite common topic, which is very well spoken about on AI, is the AI solution provider. One would want to set themselves as an AI solution provider, and the job role that would be aligned to that would be one of a machine learning engineer or an AI engineer. Typically, the SOC code for that would be 2136, and their role would focus on developing intelligent systems for automation and building AI systems which optimizes algorithms and can also integrate models into production and the environment. With that as well, the other title one could use, another role one could use an AI solution provider is the IT business analyst, again, solution, where they predominantly focus on gathering requirements for AI systems and translate business needs into a technical spectrum. Yeah, the other role one could adopt as well under the same AI solution provider is one of a data engineer. Again, that's a role that one could take, and that would be under, again, still called 2139, where principally their focus is on building data pipes or managing data leaks in situations like that, or supporting model training and workflows. Now, those are some of the ideas. And just to add on to that, we've got another idea which one could set himself up also as a cloud infrastructure service provider. This is straightforward, whereby one adopts the role of an IT specialist manager, where they predominantly will be managing cloud-based IT systems. One could also set themselves as a fintech startup rather. Again, where the role that would go with this is of financial technologists and adopting the Code 2136, where they are predominantly focusing on creating tech-driven financial products, which essentially that will be their job role and focusing on providing that kind of service. We could also look at one setting up as a UX or UI design studio, where you're looking at web designing as a web designer. That would be your job role. That would fall under the Code 2137, and essentially your focus is on improving the user experience in various digital platforms. Again, another business idea that one could form is to become an edtech platform. That could be your business model, where you'd adapt a role of an educational technologist. And again, with the sort code 2311, which essentially you're looking at building tools for online learning. You're looking at enhancing the learning experience and providing that as a service that you focus on. The other model, again, which one will be able to consider, is setting up a business as an SaaS product company, where there's a role acceptable under the technical product manager, and that will be your job role under SOC Code 2136. And essentially, you're focusing on launching scalable software as a service tools provider. So that's quite straightforward. And last but not least, we could look at a blockchain consultancy. You just set yourself as a blockchain consultancy, where you are a blockchain developer, and the code that would be consistent with that is 2136, where you implement secure and decentralized systems. So this just gives you some of the roles and also business ideas that one can set up under the technology and digital innovation system. Now, it's important to know that in all these roles I mentioned, the roles must be genuine. They should not be created solely for immigration purposes. And again, with good legal advice and structuring, it is possible that can be guided properly. And again, what the Home Office is looking for is to ensure that the business, once it's set up, it's not more so how much you're investing in the business, but more so how well-structured business is, the foundation of the business, and that it's sustainable in the foreseeable future. With that regard, it's safe to say that you need to show the business should show business needs, things like client contracts and product development plans, depending on what role one has adopted. Yeah, so that just gives you an overview of the structure and what would be expected. And I've gone over a little bit over the time. I wanted to just go over this. I can see quite a lot of questions, but just to wrap up on that, before I go to the next question, it is important that whatever business model one considers, it has to be a viable business, it has to be sustainable, and of course, it's important that it's in an area that you have the relevant expertise and experience in. That's quite critical, as the Home Office would want to see during the perhaps audit or interview, that you're able to demonstrate that. Now, once you set up a business, we're able to guide you on some of the other things should be required on it, like the authorizing officer roles and so on and so forth, and setting up all those systems. Yeah, I hope that covers that. Next week on Series 3, we're going to be looking at construction and engineering roles and business services that goes along that, just to give you an idea of some of the businesses which people can consider. It will go in depth again into looking at what sort of businesses people in the construction sector and engineering services can set up and what roles they could adopt in order to be able to embark on this journey of being a self-sponsored person. It's a very good opportunity. This is a role that suits anybody who is just coming towards the end of a PSW visa or is on a skilled worker visa and want to switch, or is on any other visa, and they're considering what other way they could do. It's suited for professionals, and of course, they must be at least RQF level 6 and above, which means must be at least at the graduate level. Let me see if I can filter some of the questions and see whether I can take some of the questions. Thank you very much, Judith. Welcome. I can see you watching from Kenya. Welcome, Judith Odhiambo. Good to see you. And just to keep up with the question, I've got Teresa. Am I able to help with visa refusal due to documentation mix-up, appealing for revise? Yes, I can do that. Teresa, just if you want to get in touch with me separately, we can be able to look at that for you. I don't know whether you've got my number, but I can put it on the chat line. Perhaps, Eric, you can do it for me, but I can also do it now. If you that's my just drop me a WhatsApp message on that number, then we'll be able to guide you on what needs to be done. Looking at Tekla, hi, good to see you. Thank you very much. Ifidapo, yeah, I can see you met me before. Good to see you again. And Lily is asking, am I able to answer something not related to self-sponsorship? Depending on what it is. Yeah, thank you, Eric, for putting that. That's a link for now to book a meeting. I think there's a link you can put there. If you want to go to the website and follow up on how you can get in touch with us, there's a link there. It's quite helpful. It's recommendable that you go to the website and just book a one-on-one, and we can be able to guide you. Thank you very much. Unless there is anything specifically you want to ask, does anybody have anything they want to ask concerning what I've just gone through, the self-sponsorship route? I'll be happy to see what I can do. If it's something that requires a specific advice, I'll be happy to arrange, but I'm happy to filter generic questions here. If you have any question, please just do shoot up, and I'm happy to do that now. Perhaps if you can type it on the chat, if that makes it easy for you. Farah, thank you for that question. Farah's asking whether I have or know some of any existing businesses that need partnerships. It depends on what partnerships you're willing to do. If you want to talk to me separately later on, again, just do reach out. I don't know exactly what partnerships you're looking for, but if I once you understand that, I may be able to link you up. If I do know, depending on what it is. Does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask concerning what we've just gone through now? If not, yeah, thank you very much all. So Teresa, thank you very much, Teresa. Yeah, so that today we just covered, just to recap, we covered about the technology and digital innovation. Next series 3, I'm going to be going into in-depth about construction and engineering services. Again, these are all businesses which one can use to be able to you form a business. Then the business can be used to in turn sponsor you, be able to extract a COS on it, as long as it's a genuine role, and the COS can be used to sponsor you, and of course you can use it to apply for a sponsorship, a skilled worker visa. Now, Adoma is asking a useful question, and I think I should take it. How much should one have in your business, and how long should the business run before one can apply for a license? Very good question. Now, the beauty about the sales sponsorship route is, unlike the innovative visa, where there was a specific amount of money required. In this particular one, there is no minimum amount of money one must have, and of course, there's no maximum amount of money. It's all dependent on your business needs. If your business requires £10,000, then show £10,000. If it requires £50,000, then you need to show £50,000. It all depends on your business. However, it's important to know that the whole idea is for people with ideas can be able to start a business even on a modest basis. But of course, it goes without saying that you will need some investment into your business. There's just no foreseeable way that you can imagine you're going to start this without any sort of investment. You should be prepared to put some investment. Of course, there's going to be investment on the infrastructure of forming your business, registration, getting everything done. You'll also need things like a local director if you're not in the country. If you're in the country, you may need to have, you'll definitely require an authorizing officer. Of course, an authorizing officer is the most senior person in the business, and they're the ones who will be able to assist in recruiting into the business. And of course, there's a recruitment process that has to be done, and it has to be done in a correct manner that is compliant. So you will need some investment, but I cannot tell you how much because obviously it depends on the business. All I can say is that there is no maximum and there's no minimum. You can start with a modest amount and there is no problem, provided that you're able to demonstrate that your business is sustainable, which means that at the very least we should be able to show that your business is able to pay its overheads and the staff. I hope that answers your question. The other question you asked is how long should the business run before you can apply for a license? We normally recommend between three to 6 months thereabout. Anything from that. If you got a business that's new, we need to show that there's some trading history and the business is being run sustainably. It is not prudent to be able to just form a company and apply. I would also say that because the process of documentation requires a bit of time, I sometimes see on my consultations people coming when they've got 1 month left, 2 months left. That is not sufficient time. You need to give yourself room because there's a lot of documentation required, and we need to take you through the process so that we can get it right. Otherwise, you'll find yourself out of time, especially those who've been given the 60 days notice, if that applies to you, and you're trying to switch. Or if you're coming towards the end of your PSW and you've left it too late. It's recommendable that one should start the process earlier so that there's enough preparation time. Getting the documentation that's required, business plans, liaising with business experts who may want to help you with different things which are required, just to make sure the company is compliant. I've got Newton. Newton, welcome on board. And your question, I hope that answers the question, Adoma, the things that you wanted to know. If it is, please put, if I've answered you, put a thumbs up to make sure you're satisfied. If there's anything else that I've enhanced that you want clarified, I can always chat with you later. Newton asks how long, yeah, pleased to hear that. Thank you very much. You're satisfied. How long does it take for a software company to be set up? Very good question, Newton. Newton, where are you calling from? Where are you based? You can just type your location, Newton. Yeah, okay. While I wait for his location, Newton wants to know how long it takes for a software company to be set up. The period of setting up a company would apply to any company, not necessarily a software company. In the UK, setting up a company can be done as quickly as within a day. So that should not take long. What is going to require some preparation is the documentation, as I mentioned earlier, and there's quite a bit of it to be put together. And we can offer guidance on that, or at least seek counsel from a qualified solicitor who will be able to, guide you on what is required. The documentation is what needs to be put together, and that is what to be submitted to the Home Office for application for a sponsorship license. Once it's prepared properly. The first step is to get a sponsorship license on the company. But before that is done, of course, it's important the business is done, is set up, it's already working, and there is a business need that the business requires an employee of some sort. Thank you, Newton, for confirming based in Nairobi. Very nice to know that. Yes, I was answering your question. So the business can be set up, within 24 hours thereabout, a day. But what takes a bit of time is putting together the paperwork. You'll find, as an example, to get the company with VAT, which is a requirement, and that can take between 6 to 8 weeks sometimes. So if you are considering doing this, it's important to know that you need to give yourself ample time, especially those who are coming towards the end of their visas, so that you're not caught off guard and necessitating you having to leave the country as we continue with the progress. There's nothing stopping you from continuing with this even when you're out of the country, but it makes it a little bit difficult for you because obviously some of the things you could do easier if you're in the country. But this is an option open for both people in the country and out of the country. I hope that answers the question, Newton. Right. Okay. Having answered those, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for those who joined us today. If it's your first time, please make sure you subscribe for notification for when we post the next one. We're going to put this session on our YouTube, but of course, the next series following up is on construction, and thereafter there'll be one on healthcare and life sciences. We'll be talking to you about the healthcare and life sciences business ideas. And after that, we'll be looking at creative and education services, then logistics, then business and finance, then retail, marketing, and lastly, beauty and hairdressing. So keep yourself tuned. Press the notification button to be kept updated, and we hope that we'll be able to give you more insights into this particular area. Thank you very much, Newton, for confirming that. Unless there are any other questions, we're going to end the live. Thank you very much for joining us. Please subscribe with us, follow us, and send any comments on how you felt it, and any feedback on how we can improve on our delivery. Thank you very much, all, and wishing you a lovely weekend.